Okay, good evening everyone. So our topic for today's video is all about the summary of the chapter 10 of the networking one or the CCNA one. So this summary of chapter 10 is going to cite all of what I've understand in this module in this chapter. So let's start. So endpoints. We're all familiar in endpoints. Endpoints or end users are those or when we say endpoints are those devices that like laptop, desktop, and our phones. They are called endpoints, and the end users are us, the humans that are using those endpoints. And it is said in this topic, in this chapter, that endpoints are the most susceptible, or they are the most who is being infected by those malware. So, what is malware? We are always talking about malware or viruses in our body in connection, for example, in our body the endpoints or the end user is our body or us more specifically, and those malwares are those bacteria that can affect our body. So when we talk about malwares, it is like, yes, bacteria. So if it affects or if it infect if it have a chance to infect your endpoints or your laptop, your cell phones, and your desktops, it may lead to a certain types of it may lead to a crash. What I mean for crash, your system will crash because the malware is distracting. The word is distracting, so it will distract the whole device, not in one shot, but little by little. It depends on the hacker on how he or she developed that kind of malware. So that are endpoints. And but okay, let's go back to this. But as always, an advice to those people who has their devices and their networks, it is important for you to have your security. Security, for example, in a certain company, we always have this kind of security guard. We always have it because what is the sense of having a security guard is for your company to be secure. For those persons who is coming in of your company, they're always checking it because if they think that this person or this type of person, this kind of person that will gonna enter your company is very, very anonymous and very, very suspectable to have a bad, bad thing to do in your company, they will not able, they will never able to, they will never, not, they will never able, but they will stop that person that is very suspicious, the word is suspicious, just very suspicious to do a kind of thing that it may lead to a destruction of your company. So it is the sense of having a security. And in connection in networking or in this topic or this chapter 10, those security is this. First is the ESA or the Email Security Appliance. For the email security appliance, it is a device that is designed to monitor the simple mail transfer protocol SMTP. The Cisco ESA is constantly updated by real-time feeds from the Cisco Talos, which detects the correlates threats and solutions by using a worldwide database monitoring system. This threat intelligence data is pulled by the Cisco ESA every 3 to 5 minutes. These are some of the functions of the Cisco ESA. First, black node threats. We, there is there are very known threats in the internet, not only by the internet but also in those devices. There are very known threats, and by the use of this ESA, it blocks it all. I Yes, it blocks it. Second is remediate against stealth malware that evaded initial detection. Third, discard emails with bad links. When we say discard emails, so it will not able for you when you have this ESA on your device, it will not able you to open that email because first the ESA will check if this email is having a malware on it. So if it is having a malware, you can't able to open it. For you to not enter for the malware will not come out and go onto your device for the destruction of it and for the or for it to get your confidential files on your devices. The fourth one is block access to newly infected sites. So in the internet, it is very usual to have a very widely different types of sites in the internet. And there are certain flagship sites. What I mean of the flagship sites are those sites that has the is being used mostly of the most of the individuals around the world. So when we say the flagship sites, what I mean by the flagship site is it is those sites that is it is safe because everyone will not use it, or most of the individuals around the world will not use it if that site is not safe. So what I mean in this function of the ESA, which is block access to newly infected sites. So when we have a safe site, there's also an unsafe site. Why it is called unsafe? Because that site maybe look so interesting, maybe look so you can get an easy money on it, but in the end, or after you click that kind of site, it may lead to a malware that may distract your whole device. So by the use of this ESA, it will block the access, so you will not able to use it, that site that has a malware on it. Okay. And last one is encrypt content in outgoing email to prevent data loss. Okay, so what do you mean by encrypt? Encrypt it will, for example, a message. You will you want to send a message to your friend. When you will encrypt it, those message, the whole message will change into a different kind of symbols. So what does it mean, or does what is the sense of changing it? The sense of changing the whole letter or the whole message that you want to send to your friend by different kind of symbol is for the hacker will not know what is that kind of file or that confidential file that you want to send to your friend. Because nowadays there is the fact that we all have internet in our houses, we all have internet in our school. The our confidential files, our important files for us are being saved in the internet, or we will just send it to our friend for us to to share our life with them. And the hackers have is want to have a easy money on it. So the sense of being a hacker is to hack those person or those network that is unsecured. So by the use of this ESA, it will encrypt. It will change the whole. It will not it will literally change. If you can see it physically change, it will change those symbols. Like what I've said before, it will use different kinds of symbols, and it it is the ESA doing it for us to not have a data loss. Why will have a data loss? Because the data loss may happen if the hacker do get your your important files. So let's go to the another one. It is the WSA, or the Web Security Appliance. For the Web Security Appliance, Cisco WSA can perform blacklisting of URLs, URL filtering and malware scanning, URL categorization, web application filtering, and lastly, encryption and decryption of web traffic. So first, for the blacklisting of URL, so this WSA Web Security Appliance is more on the internet. It's more on, like what I've said before, is more on sending your confidential files through the internet. So by the use of this Web Security Appliance, the hacker will not able, or the malware will not able to go inside, or will not able to get those files from you. And it is said here that blacklisting of URLs. It is the same like before, like the site. But by the means of blacklisting, so it will black. Yes, it will really black those URLs that have a malware on it. And next is URL filtering. So when we say URL filtering, so when we say filter, for example, in water, you will filter the water. Why? because there are certain types of chemicals in those water that is not very not that is not very good. It's not very that may cause sickness on the person who will drink that water. So that is the means of filtering it. Okay. So the next one is malware scanning. So it always have this kind of feature, malware scanning, because it is for the malware not to enter that specific device. So malware scanning is part of the features of WSA, or the Web Security Appliance. Next one is the URL categorization. So it will categorize the URL. It will categorize what is the kind of URL that you want to enter with. And web application filtering is just like the URL filtering. In the web application filtering, the sense of filter, it will know what is that kind of application or web application that you want to enter with. So it will filter, the WSA will filter if this site is having a kind of malware that may cause distraction on your device. Okay, so let's go on with the AAA services. What is those AAA? First one in the AAA is the authentication. Let me give you an example of this in AAA, or in this AAA services. First one is authentication. I'm gonna give example. The credit card. For the authentication is who is the person, or who are the one who is used, or who owns this credit card. So it may, in authentication, it may put the name, your security number, or your serial number, and then other important or personal information of the user. Next one is authorize. Authorize is how do you spend, or in the credit card, this kind of credit card, there is a limitation on how much can you spend on it, right? So for example, in a network, authorized, who are only those authorized person who can enter that network. So it means it only, because in the first one, the authentication, you're the one who will know. For example, it may also deals with the password or the email that may enter to open that kind of device. So for the authorization is who are the one, or who is the one who can open that kind of device. So it means it is you. That is means of authorization or authorized. Lastly is the accounting. For the accounting, for example, in the credit card, like what I've said before, like in the authorization, it will tell you how much you can spend. In accounting, it will tell you how much do you spend, or how it will give you the list of those things that you buy by means of accounting, because in accounting it also deals with billing. When we say billing, it is the sense, or it is the, it talks about money. It talks about your on how do you spend your money in that certain kind of thing, thing like that. So it will show you the list of the things that you buy for your good. Okay, so I will that that things are the most important things that I've learned in this chapter 10. So let me give you a little recap. So it is very important for you to have a security on your to have a security on your on your device, because if you will not put security, it's just like you're putting yourself out of the box. It's just like putting yourself, or just opening yourself for everybody. What I mean is have some kind of personal touch, or not personal touch, but have some kind of privacy. That's the word, privacy on yourself. Because by the means of this security, your privacy will be safe. Your privacy will be there, and also your confidential. Those confidential things that is only for you to know. It's only, and not for everyone else to know about it. So it is very important to have that kind of things for you. So it may have like, okay, let's go back. There's the endpoint. So endpoints are those devices like laptops, desktops, and phones that we're using. And though the ESA able security appliance, so it is kind of security for your device or for your network to have for not having a malware on it. Next one is WSA, Web Security Appliance. It really deals on how we serve the internet in general, and how we serve the internet, and how does this WSA um, guards your network or guards your device for not having a type of malware on your device, for you to don't have that kind of distraction or leakage of your confidential files. Okay, so the triple A services. So this is very important to know. Why? Because for a network, if you want to pursue a course that really deals in network, it is very important for you. Security and being secured is very important. Not only in this network, but most especially on yourself. It is very important to be secured every time. Being ready, like what my professor said before. Don't act or don't do a thing that you will just do a solution after that problem. You should make a solution before the problem comes in. So the means of the security is before the malware comes in, it is there already. Okay? That is not like, okay, the malware goes in your network, the malware goes in your device, and then you're just gonna put your security like something like that. What is the sense? The malware is already on it. So the sense of the security is for you to be ready for that kind of malware that may attack your certain network or device. So the word here is being secured, being ready, and yes, being secured and being ready all the time, all the time. Not only in the aspect of networking, but also in the aspect as in your real life, reality world. You should always be ready and be secured. It's very important to have it. Okay. So I hope you learned something in this video, and I hope that this may give you a little tips, or little, it may enhance or not enhance, but it may give you a enlightenment about what networking and how to be more secured and how to be more prepared on that certain type of malware that may distract or may get your confidential files on you. Okay, so that was all, and thank you.